Hey, I'm Martin, and one of the founders of Mercher. I guess the aha moment was probably realizing that you kind of need a few things to survive today. And I spent a lot of my time in the US, a huge amount of time in the US, and there is a very different way of thinking and way of looking, which is it's quite normal to have 2 to 3 jobs, and whereas here we call it a pension, in the US they call it a 401k. It's quite normal to want to have a supplementary job to save for your 401k, your pension fund, and a side hustle. But a side hustle was kind of, I guess, was the aha moment. Well, could we make it that somebody could make money without needing to invest money? What we looked at was that there wasn't a suitable solution. So that if a friend of mine, and I'm not going to embarrass anybody with names, artists or whatever it is, because it's not fair, but a friend of mine who is a well-known street artist wanted to have a merch collection, it was complicated. They had to get a website, they had to find the product, they had to design the product, they had to publish the website, and then they had to buy the inventory, and then they had to put it in their lounge or garage, and they had to post it out, and none of that really works when really your passion is for creating content or art or whatever it may be. But what I wanted was a solution that enabled anybody to monetize their content. And Jack Fox, who was one of the youngest helicopter instructors in the country and commercial pilots, he had a real passion for building websites. And I said to him, you know what, instead of like building the best helicopter training website, why don't we help people make money? Why don't we help people monetize their content? And that's a really very ugly term of saying make money. It just feels ugly, but actually it's true. It's yours. Why can't you make money for it? Just FYI, I did feel a spot of rain then, and we are in England and sat outside. And so that's where it came from. And I said, well, what if you could create a website, publish products to it, sell them, and not have to actually print them or touch them, but set your own profit. And that's where it came from. Now, for what it's worth, the idea was way easier than the delivery, because people have been trying for years. But luckily, you know, we have a smart bunch. It is definitely raining, isn't it?
It is. It's raining. Yeah.
Do we move inside? Yes.
Okay.
I guess I don't know that I have a favourite piece of merch. I mean, right now, this is my favourite. Thank you, everybody, for doing this for me. So I think this is probably my favourite thing, but that's probably because you guys bought it for me or made it for me, and so it's kind of quite personal. But I think this is a great product, but also the way that it's been produced, that it's, you know, really for me, it's kind of personal. So thank you. I was asked a little bit about AI and where I saw AI in all of this, and I call that a Kodak moment, when somebody said, "Well, we shouldn't allow AI," and I go, "Whoa, hang on, that seems ridiculous." I mean, there was a day, which we call the Kodak moment, where somebody went into a Kodak board meeting and said, "Hey, got this new thing, we've invented digital photography," and somebody said, "Well, that's just going to ruin all our film sales." I think that AI, particularly in image generation, this is a Kodak moment. And in the same way as that we use, in the simplest term, spell check to help us not be quite as bad at writing emails, why won't AI become as normal as that? I think the future is that Mercher becomes a huge community. And what we'd like to see is that as we're adding, and again, I'm not going to embarrass any customers, but we have the most incredible, I don't really want to call them customers because they're all friends now, and I think that we help and they raise money and it's wonderful. I see us ending up as kind of a place to find anything. What I want Mercher to be is that you get what you've ordered and it's great and we stand behind it. That's what I want it to be. But, you know, that it isn't easy. So I often get asked what's our superpower in kind of the print on demand world, and that kind of seems to come from two areas. It comes from investors and it comes from brands. And there's some, if we go back a little bit, it's one of the things that encouraged us. It was that when we looked at musicians, outside of the top 10 of musicians, if they went to their website, they didn't have any product in. And we know that musicians only make money from touring and merch. But because the organizations that looked after their merch didn't want to hold inventory, you had all these tremendous artists that couldn't make any money from product and weren't in those days touring because of COVID, and therefore didn't have the income. And so there's a number of kind of superpowers. So I guess the superpower is probably a combination of our ability to take everybody's opinions and actually not say no. And I think that's, whether that be an investor, a shareholder, or a customer or whatever, but I really believe that some of the crazy decisions we've made have actually turned out to be the luckiest decisions we've made. So I think our superpower has to be our people. But the real superpower is that it's now and it's here, and we are featured and we help the largest brands in the UK, the number one visitor attractions, the biggest names you've ever heard. Our ability to go from an idea to a product. Our technology enables you to take this photograph, put it on a website, send it to your friends, and bear in mind that could be helicopter fans, it could be, I was going to say bachelorette party because that's an American, but a hen night or a stag night or whatever it may be. And if you think about bachelorette parties or hen nights, somebody always has to get all the stuff, and there's always somebody that doesn't pay. Whereas if you could create a little website and say, look, order your stuff from there, then it can be on demand and nothing goes to waste. But the fact that we can take a photograph and in about a minute and 5 seconds or 10 seconds create this with this incredible finish, I think the superpower is everything stuck together. But I think our superpower is that we've kind of had all of the experience of 30 years of mistakes, and younger minds have figured out is what we actually do with that. So I don't think any of us wake up in the morning and go, let's make our investors happy. I hope that we wake up in the morning and go, how do we get a better product? And I guess that's our superpower. You've got to embrace a quality culture all the way through. Good enough isn't good enough. Now in technology, good enough has to be good enough, otherwise you never get to the end. But in product, it's about supply chain. And so I am very fortunate to have been in product for 35, 40 years. But we figured out how to somehow get these images onto products in fast, quick, easy, without any waste. But you have to start with a good product. There's no point in starting with a kind of a cheap version that isn't environmentally aware, doesn't have the correct standards, isn't clean, or whatever it may be. But it's the way we then treat that afterwards. It's the way we personalize that, the way we package it, and the way we send it to you. What I think we've done is we've taken the whole thing from the ability for you to create a web store, the ability to then create a design. We even have an online designer, so if you want to create your own designs and your own art, well, you can do that, upload your own photos. But then at the end of it, you end up with a great product. And that's it, and that's our differentiation, is we believe in the product. And that is referenced by the fact that we don't actually get anything returned, pretty much ever. I've been asked a few times, can I have the elevator pitch? What are the three words that, what are the three words that describe Mercher? And I think it's a killer, because how can you define our amazing team over 3 years? So I don't know what that is, and all of our knowledge into 3 words. I can't. I really find it very difficult. There's a guy I respect greatly called Marcus Lemonis, and he is American, but does a brilliant kind of version of, it's not Dragon's Den or Gordon Ramsay, but it's a proper, honest, really gritty thing. It's his money, his effort, And he talks about people, product, process. And I really believe in that. You can't succeed without people, a great product and a great process. So I think what Mercher has done is it's embraced, thank you, Marcus. You haven't got any shares, but I probably owe you. But we've embraced people, product and process. And I think that's what describes Mercher. We have an amazing client that took on an idea that we really had to convince them to do. And this is one of the biggest visitor attractions in the country. And because they took our idea of not having one and buying 10,000 and taking risk, but why don't you just buy 100 of 10 different ones and just each week refill the ones that sell the most, they increased their sales by 87%. Now, I'm kind of proud of that because we made more money for something that's a great cause. But I'm equally proud of, and I will name them because I'm so obsessed with their content and I just love it. And I follow very few things on Instagram, but I do follow a thing called Tiny Tots TV. It just makes me laugh. And they use our solution, and people buy product with these fantastic sayings on. And I think I don't know really when Tiny Tots TV, where it came from, but I absolutely love it. And I'm kind of hoping that, at some point somebody's going to get me one of these because some of the sayings are just so me. I mean, maybe it's my age, but they're so me. So I think that's the bit that I get proud of, is the fact that we are maybe we are a bit of a, what's the word? An incubator for people, product, process. We really want to be ahead of the game. We really want to know that everything is good. If we suddenly see one day that our websites have stopped working, well, that's too late. We need to know the point that, last week 10,000 people signed up for our websites, and therefore we need to, I'm using words that I don't know what they even mean, but spin up more servers. We look outside, we look at our customers, we look at the success. And we've got an amazing customer that's actually one of our most successful. But when I looked at their website recently, I thought, what a shame. Why don't they do some better stuff? And it turns out they don't have the time. So we're doing it for them because that's a win-win. So everything I want to be doing is looking outside to the future. So I guess a lot of the keeping your finger on the pulse really is about actually using the solution yourself. And it's something you find frustrating, then chances are somebody else is as well. But listen to people. Don't ignore anything. And the crazy idea today may be really relevant in 2 years' time. People call me a dreamer. And I think that's how you keep the finger on the pulse. What if we could? I love that. What if we could? A lot of the time people chat to me and say, tell me about Mercher. What is it? And I guess the answer is so often the same. And to me, it's so obvious, which is I'm giving you a chance to monetize your content without risk inventory or what. There's a gentleman whose name I wish I knew. And he was a musician. And he was arguing with his, not sure if his wife or partner, because he'd filled the kitchen with T-shirts and he wasn't shipping them out, and it was taking 3 weeks to ship them out. And it was like affecting his marriage. And customers weren't getting particularly well served. And he realized, wait, I could use Mercher and I can do all this and I don't even have to touch it. And so that's the message really, that to me is the clearest message is that do the bits you love to do, but all the tough stuff behind the scenes we can do. But I've met some incredible musicians, but they're not great at merch or product. I think our team are brilliant at merch and product. So if everyone just sticks to what they know, so I can't write a song or play the guitar very well, and a buddy of mine that's a tremendous guitarist, he's just not very good at merch, but wow, can he play the guitar? And so it's kind of do what you enjoy. I don't think anybody really enjoys getting a jiffy bag and folding a t-shirt and putting it in it and sending it out to the post office. As it happens, we quite do. Because actually the end result is that we then see somebody post it and then we go, hey, we did something good. I just wanted to make it easy for people to be able to make money. And because of my background, that was important. And we've done it. We've made it easy for people to make money. And so I know it was a few questions ago, but I guess that's the bit I'm proudest of.